Our next module for discussion is amortized analysis. So far as part of classical complexity analysis, we have been focusing on three cases. One is the worst case analysis, best case analysis, and average case analysis. If you look at classical complexity theory, given a computational problem P and its solution, namely an algorithm for P, and then as part of analyzing this algorithm, we brought in these three cases. Problem could be sorting, or problem could be given an integer array, find minimum, maximum, or search a particular element. So problem could be anything. Then as part of worst case, we were saying these inputs take the maximum cost, and so when I say the worst case complexity of an algorithm is say order n square, which means for all inputs the complexity is this. And when I say the best case is so much, say omega of n, then for all inputs the complexity is at least this much. But when we look at average case, we look at all possible inputs. But the way we look at that is slightly different, because number of inputs is countably infinite. So we bring probabilistic argument or probabilistic analysis, using which we model this infinite input set and say on an average what is the complexity of so and so operation or an algorithm. As part of average case analysis, all possible inputs are taken into account. These two are extreme cases. This will focus on the right extreme, this will focus on the left extreme. So largely this one is for a specific operation. So something like find min, although it is a problem, you can see this as find min as an operation, right? And so given a set of elements and subsequently you construct a heap out of it, then you analyze what is the complexity of find min. It is just one operation. Suppose we are given a data structure. Along with that, now the objective is to not just one operation. The input sequence consists of sequence of operations, say k different operations. A data structure and an input sequence consisting of so many operations. So this could be, say, a min heap, and the operations could be, say, I ask for find min, that could be one operation, or I may perform search, or I may ask for say find max, or you may delete something or insert something. So each operation is unique. This says you find min out of this data structure, insert an element into the already existing set of elements, and maintaining the property of, so after insert I should get back heap, and in particular it should be a min heap. Now the question is, how do we analyze a data structure along with sequence of operation? It is not just one. So far classical analysis, we focus on a data structure and one specific operation. What is the complexity of say extract minimum in a binomial heap? What is the complexity of delete min in a binomial heap? But we have not analyzed this. Given a binomial heap and an input sequence consisting of I insert an element into a binomial heap, and perform extract minimum. Then I perform merge with some other binomial heap, and then I perform, say, decrease key. Then I perform couple of more insert, then maybe delete, and so on. Now, a data structure along with a sequence of operations. The question is, how do we analyze such a case study? And one simple approach is quite intuitive one. You just invoke the classical complexity itself. For example, so there are k operations, say O1, O2, so on up to OK. You can find the worst case cost of operation 1 similarly for each of them. So for each of them you can find the worst case cost. Then you can take the max out of all of this. So max out of all of this. And there are k operations. So you say k times this. So this will tell you that this is an upper bound for the given input sequence. I just make use of classical complexity theory idea. There are k operations. For each of them you look at the worst case. What is the worst case cost of insert? If it is by a min binomial heap, then it is order log n. Extract minimum is order log n. So for each of this, what is the cost? Take the maximum, and there are k operations, so into k. So this will tell you the upper bound for this input sequence. On the similar line, you can take the best case of O1 and the best case of O2 and so on. Now we take min of best case of OI, that into k. This will give you the lower bound. So something like, for this input sequence I need at least this much cost, and for this input sequence I need at most this much cost. So something like this is big O, and this is giving me omega. Correct? But one can also do this. So you may take each of this and take the average of this. Average of the worst case cost of each of this. That also we can do. That will tell you on an averaging argument in the worst case sense. So on an average, each operation takes so much time, but it is an average. So which means you may find some operations whose worst case cost is below this value, and for some of them it is above this value. Correct? So that can happen. This is okay. This is quite intuitive one. Now what we want is there a different way of looking at the analysis? For two reasons. Some of these operations may be related. Maybe the interplay between them might help us in analyzing the input sequence from a slightly different perspective, and in an attempt to do that we may probably get a better analysis, somewhat tighter analysis. Or rather, if we focus on micro level view of this input sequence and subsequently its analysis, we might end up getting a better analysis. So that's precisely amortized analysis. As part of amortized analysis, we are given a data structure or a problem to be solved, and subsequently you are also given a sequence of operations on a data structure. Now the classical analysis, yes, it will work fine, but that will only give you a loose bound on the estimate, the cost for the input sequence. So can we do a better analysis? There are, this itself you see, and extract minimum is invoking merge, and if you look at delete is also invoking merge and extract minimum. So which means, and these operations are related. Insert can be seen as merge. So these operations, they are not independent. So one is dependent on the other. Which means, so there may be an interplay between two or more operations. Can we focus on that interplay between two or more operations? Will that help us to tighten our analysis? So that is the focus. So the objective of amortized analysis is averaging argument. So average cost in worst case, and in particular the analysis is for a sequence of operations O1, O2, so on up to OK. The analysis focuses on interplay between two or more operations. So in an attempt to look at this, we get to understand the operation better. So we get to know where exactly the cost is spent, and thereby you can tighten the analysis. It is an average cost. So if you look at these operations, some of them may be really cheap, meaning constant operations, order 1 or theta 1, and some may be expensive, maybe order n or theta of n, and some may be less expensive, maybe order log n or theta of log n. But overall, we may say it depends on the number of operations taking constant and so on. We may say amortize cost is, say, order 1. When we say this, because it is average cost in the worst case scenario, it doesn't mean that every operation is taking this. So you may find operations which are taking more than this, but that will be very few in number. So majority of them are close to constant. So there are very few operations which is involving the variable n, and otherwise majority of the operations are constant in nature. That's precisely the idea. When we say we want to get an efficient amortized cost, we want to do maximum number of operations as efficiently as possible, and minimum number of operations may not be possible to do it efficiently. We will do it less efficiently, so that overall cost is still efficient. Okay, or the average cost in the worst case scenario or amortized cost is efficient. So to discuss this idea or analysis technique, there are three methods. One is aggregate analysis. So second one is accounting method. Third one is potential function method. Please note, this is from an analysis perspective. So which means once we design an algorithm, we will not change the algorithm for the analysis sake. Algorithm is fixed. Fixing the algorithm, we shall analyze the amortized cost assuming we perform a sequence of operations. With respect to a specific sequence of operations, we ask what is the cost of amortized, what is the cost following aggregate analysis, what is the amortized cost following aggregate analysis, what is the amortized cost following accounting method, amortized cost following potential function method. Or you are asked to do amortized analysis, you can choose one out of three to perform the analysis. And we will not change the underlying algorithm, fixing the algorithm, and by looking at the primitive operations, we identify, if I do aggregate analysis, what would be the amortized cost for this input sequence. So there are a couple of things to note. This is not our classical average case analysis. So the classical average case analysis involves probability, that's basically probabilistic analysis. So this one is not probabilistic analysis. So this one is not classical average case analysis. In classical average case analysis, we bring probability, we model the input distribution, and with that we calculate on an average what is the cost. So there we actually look at all possible inputs. Over here we are not bringing probability, we are not looking at all possible inputs. Fixing the input sequence, we look at what is the worst case cost for each of them and take the average. One can look at simple average and say what is the cost. That's precisely what aggregate analysis is doing. But one can also look at the same averaging argument from a slightly different perspective by taking the interplay between operations into account and by paying attention to the details, meaning micro level analysis. And that's precisely what we do as part of these two methods. So we fix the input sequence, we still focus on the worst case cost of each of them, but the way we see it is different. So although we say averaging argument, we don't bring all possible inputs and there is no probability involved. It is still worst case analysis, but from the average case perspective. So what we will do is we shall look at a couple of case studies so that you can appreciate each of them, and then once we look at standard case studies, we shall revisit the binomial heap and consider binomial heap and the sequence of operations like insert, merge, delete, decrease key and so on. And such a sequence is given. Can we do a different analysis? Can we tighten the usual way of analyzing the binomial heap? Which we shall see as part of this module. Now we shall get into standard case studies and let's analyze each of them with respect to these three methods.